Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine. Today I want to share with you a yarn haul. This is from yarn.com. This is the company called Webs. And while I primarily went there to replenish my supply of Lamb's Pride yarn in just a variety of colors, I actually found some other wool yarns that I'm really excited to share with you. I'm really enjoying them. Primarily we got them so that we could make our little hats for our finger puppets and our peg dolls, and we had been making them from our Lamb's Pride worsted weight yarn for a while, and we're finding them to be just the yarn a little bit too bulky, even though it's the worsted weight for some of the hats that we want to make, especially for the smaller peg dolls. And the worsted weight is the thinnest yarn that I have, and so I was really excited to explore some of these other yarns. This is the Cloudborn sports weight. We also have Cloudborn in bulky weight as well as worsted weight, and they're plied yarns, which is new for us because we primarily use the Lamb's Pride bulky and worsted weight, and it's unplied yarn. So we're a homeschooling family. We do a Waldorf-inspired homeschool, and so this is the yarn that we have been using for about 15 years, and we've really enjoyed it. I'm not a master knitter by any means. I only do basic things, and so I've only really just used this yarn to do all of our projects, and it's worked out fine. It's just that now we want to explore some other types of yarn for some new projects that we're looking into. So I wanted to share with you the yarn that we bought, the colors, and the reasons why we are using them in our homeschool, the projects that we intend to do, basically. So I first want to share with you some of the knitting needles that we have been using. These are by A Child's Dream. We bought these from A Child's Dream. Everything else, all the other yarn, is from yarn.com. The company is called Webs, and we really love these wooden needles. They're beautiful and they're durable, and they've worked for us for many years. But also recently we started making our own knitting needles, and so we made a set so that we could knit in the round. And this is for some hat projects that we started about a year ago. I've got some projects to share with you, and this is a new project for my son. He is 14, and this will be, I think, his third or fourth hat that he's knitting, and we just wanted to explore some different types of yarn and different colors than what we were used to. Okay, so primarily we have a hat theme going on. We've been making our little hats for our peg dolls, and they've been super adorable. We really love them. They've worked out really nice, but we were doing a project and we needed a different set of colors, and I was eager to try a thinner yarn. And so we went with this brand. It's called Cloudborn. This is the sport. It's called Highland Sport, and it's applied yarn, and it is thinner or smaller, I don't know the correct term, versus the worsted weight. And of course it's a lot smaller than the bulky weight yarn. So one thing that I want to just point out, well, for this color is Maize Heather, and there's a color on the back, but also there's the dye lot. So if you are, and you don't get like a ton for this compared to your Lamb's Pride. I'm used to buying the Lamb's Pride. The cost for the Lamb's Pride, I want to say, is between $12 and $15. And this one, the price, I believe it was on sale, so it was $3.99. And then this one was $5.49, and I think that I got my Lamb's Pride for $9.60. So you can kind of get a comparison there on the prices. And this one is 4 ounces, and this one is 1.8 ounces. Just so you can get an idea of the price. So I do know that if you are going to be making a project and you're going to need several skeins or skins. I always get that word wrong. I apologize. But if you're going to need multiple ones, then you're going to want to make sure that you buy them all at once so that the dye lot is the same, so that you're not going to get variations in your color. And that way, when you say knit a sweater, it all looks like it goes together. So do get the same dye lot. So I only purchased mostly 1 or 2 of these because I didn't intend to make something where we were going to need to make sure that it matched. A lot of our projects are small projects, or it's not a big deal if it doesn't match. And so we have these beautiful kind of earthy fall colors that I'm really excited to work with. And we have a couple in the blue, and this coral is just gorgeous. Another blue one. So this is all the sports weight, or Highland Sport. So really nice assortment of colors. This is 100% wool yarn. It's really soft. It doesn't feel scratchy or itchy, but we haven't made anything that's going to be directly on our skin, so I can't quite say how it's going to feel. And we probably won't use this one for our hat. So probably most of these projects aren't going to be right on our skin. So if that's something that you're sensitive to, do be aware that the wool yarn may have a particular sensation on your skin. And also, if you are allergic to wool, then you want to be mindful of having this on your skin. So that was the Highland Sport, and the colors were gorgeous. Okay, so then the other yarns that we got were all worsted weight Lamb's Pride. Oh, the Cloudborn, I'm going to show you that in a little bit because it's for our hat project. But the rest of the ones that we got were Lamb's Pride worsted weight. And these come in really beautiful colors. I don't know how many colors they have, but they have dozens of colors. And for years we stuck with the bright primary colors. It worked really well for a lot of our Waldorf inspired homeschool projects, but I'm really excited to venture into some of these other earthy tones. These are going to work really well for my 14-year-old son's projects. These are colors that just are attractive to him now because they're these earthy colors that really suit him really well. So these are primarily going to be for his projects. We will continue to knit some little hats for our peg dolls, but these are going to be for like scarves and hats and things that can be used and worn and a little bit more utilitarian rather than toys and stuffed animals that we are making in the younger grades. So for his project that he's working on right now, he is knitting a hat or a beanie. This is the ones that we have made in the past, and this was quite large, and he wants to make one that's small, just like a beanie. And so we are going about it in the same way. We are doing our knitting and our purling for a couple of inches, and then he can start and do whatever pattern he wants. So for that project, he's going to be having this beautiful green bulky weight, and we also have this blue one. It's the same kind, also in the bulky weight. This is Persian Heather. And then we're going to mix in some of these Lamb's Pride bulky weight yarns, and also in this beautiful kind of heathered teal color, kind of like a dusty aqua color. So beautiful. So these are the ones that he's going to be using to knit his hat or his beanie. He doesn't have, we're not using a particular pattern, except that we are starting with 24 stitches on each of these needles. And this is the fourth one for knitting. And he will do about maybe 1.5 to 2 inches for the ribbing at the bottom. After that, he's just gonna enjoy it, play with it, have fun with it, and then we'll start to decrease our stitches when we get to whatever appropriate height we think, maybe 6 inches, or we'll measure and we'll get to that point. But we're not following anything in particular. We're just going to have fun with it. And these are the different colors that he's going to work with. And I think this is the same green, but this is in the worsted weight and this is in the bulky weight. Really beautiful. So the Lamb's Pride yarn is not plied, but it is so gorgeous and it's so soft, but I'm wondering if it's a little bit more textured or rougher than the Highland Sport for the Cloudborn. But having not knit things that we wear for either of them, I can't truly compare between the two. I'm just telling you from like just basic feel of them. But the colors are so beautiful. This is indigo and this one is blue willow. So these will be a really nice kind of assortment for the blue and greens for his beanie. So let me show you a couple more projects that we have in mind and the yarns that we bought for them. So we bought one more in this pink. We didn't do a lot of the pinks. My daughter is not really into the pink family, which is completely fine. She prefers other colors, especially the blues, but we did get the rose heather. I think it's so beautiful. We also have this antique mauve in the Lamb's Pride. And for this project, we're making kind of like a basket, and I do not know what this is called, but there is a blog post that accompanies this video, and that link to the blog post is down in the description box below. It will take you to that blog post, and it'll also take you to the different materials that we're using for our projects, and that way you can recreate them if you wish. This one you can make like however big of a bowl or small, or even like a flat bowl with just a very thin lip around it. But this is the project that we are working on as well. This is a very long project, but it's very simple to do. It's no knitting, it's just weaving, and it's very simple to do. It just takes a really long time to do it. So the last thing I want to show you are the rest of the yarns that we got, just because the colors are so beautiful, and to share with you just one other project that we're doing with them and some of the projects that we've done in the past. These colors are so gorgeous. I love especially the heathered colors that have a little bit of gray in them. They're so beautiful. So we do have some more of the pink tones in here, and then this burgundy as well. We really are drawn to these greens and blues. They're so beautiful. So one project that we've done, we did a lot of weaving with this one. So gorgeous. Some of the projects that we typically do in our homeschool, especially in the young grades, are simple knitting projects. They start off with just simple squares and rectangles, and from that we sew them and cinch them and turn them into pumpkins or into balls or into little stuffed animals. And so primarily we'll use the bulky weight yarn in grade 1, even in grade 2, and maybe worsted in grade 2 or 3. And then as they progress through the grades, they'll be doing other handwork projects, but we like to keep with our knitting. Even if they're really small basic projects, we like to keep with them throughout the years. And so that's why having just an assortment of colors means that we have at the ready any color yarn that we need in order to do our projects. And I am super excited about the projects that we have coming up. Most of them are things that we can use, bags, scarves, hats, socks, those kinds of things. And so using the bulky weight yarn and the worsted weight yarn means that you can get through those projects just a little bit faster because you're using a thicker yarn versus working with a yarn like this that may take a little bit more time. And so when we're working with children, I find that using these, and even for adults, the bulky weight yarn is really satisfying in order to get through your projects. So I wanted to share with you all of these gorgeous colors and some of the projects that we're doing. I have a complete playlist of all of the handwork projects that you would typically find in a Waldorf setting. The ones that I'm sharing are the ones that we've done in our homeschool. You can tap on the screen to check that out. Don't forget to check out the blog post that accompanies this video for more information on the materials that we are using. And if you want to see how our homeschool is progressing on a daily basis, you can find me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.